Greetings, everyone. This is Noel, your host of the Proletariat Politics brand new show on YouTube. Episode 1. Here we go. I had recorded a sort of an episode 0. When was that? Like about a week ago, maybe. But with all the crazy stuff going on in the news right now, it seems like a good time for episode 1. So, not really using a script here. I'm just sort of going off the cuff here. But, I mean, it's sort of been a couple days since the incident that happened at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. I've had some time to sort of reflect on it a bit, sort of organize my thoughts more about what's been going on. I think the main thing that's kind of crazy to me about all of this is like sort of the rhetoric on the right, because I don't really follow a lot of conservative anything on social media or anything like that, so like a lot of people today, I'm sort of in my own echo chamber of most of my friends are leftists, and I would say people my age in general don't necessarily identify with either the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I think we're all sort of just general leftists. Some of the people in my circle are more quote unquote radicalized than others. I have friends that identify as communist, which is sort of a dirty word in today's political landscape, I guess. But I think communism has its pluses and minuses. I think it would be a lot better than the current system, but I consider myself an anarchist. I think that we've come too far down this road of capitalism to turn back. And while I would like to see some sort of utopia eventually, it's just not going to happen. So I think to be an anarchist in today's world is sort of a bit silly. It's a bit self-indulgent. Like, I think that regardless of what your personal politics are, that we can make strides towards making the world a better place, regardless of what political party you associate with, or what you consider yourself to be. So, but I don't know, just the stuff I've been seeing on social media from the right is like it's pretty scary to me. Like, I follow this person uh, on social media who I don't know. I guess they're conservative of some kind, but they just like the type of memes and stuff that they post is very like bizarre to me. Like, I've been sort of like doing a little bit of research into this, just to have something concrete to talk about on this first episode rather than just rambling. But I was looking a little bit into this character that goes by L. Lynn Wood, I believe is his name. He was an attorney, I guess. I don't know if he's still an attorney, but he was like an injury lawyer of some kind. I'm not sure like exactly how respected he is amongst his peers, but just knowing what I know about like law, seems like injury lawyers are almost like the bottom of the barrel when it comes to practicing law. Like you're basically like considered an ambulance chaser if you're an injury lawyer. Like you're essentially capitalizing on the suffering of others by trying to squeeze money out of people when they're at their lowest point. But that's a digression that we don't need to get into right now. But this Ellen Wood character is a real, I'd say, like, when it comes to inciting violence from the right, like especially the far right, I think he's like at the top of the list of people that are calling for violence on social media. Like, obviously, Trump just got basically banned from almost every platform for inciting violence, and a lot of people on the right are like crying about that, like, oh, like censorship, free speech. But I don't think this really falls under free speech. First of all, there's really no such thing as free speech. As George Carlin said, we really don't have any rights. We only have whatever rights the elite are willing to give us at any given moment. Like they're the ones in control. They're the ones that are calling the shots. So, but when it comes to the president of the free world, the United States of America, like you have some semblance of responsibility to um, I don't know, adhere to the truth, to abide by some form of logic. But obviously, logic went out the window in this country a long time ago. Like we haven't been operating on that for quite a while. So sort of par for the course for our president to be telling people to start riots on social media. Like it's just another thing on the long list of atrocities committed by the right over the past, what, 40, 50 years. And you can even go farther back than that, like go back to slave times. And not much has really changed since the days of slavery in this country. Like, uh, obviously, it's no longer in fashion to go out on the streets with your swastika armbands or your Confederate battle flags, but that's what some of the people were doing that stormed the Capitol building. They basically set up a lynching rope in the National Mall in Washington, and there were battle flags there. There were a lot of interesting flags. Obviously, there were a lot of Blue Lives Matter, thin blue line flags, and typical crap that you see from the right. Like as Hassan Piker says, a lot of people that support Trump are basically weebs. Like they like to cosplay and do their little dress up and wave their flags around, and they get real happy about being able to dress up in their Trump gear, which is very funny. But just like this kind of stuff you see from this like L. Lynn Wood character and some of the other like people on the right, like I was reading this other article about former military generals, like really high up generals in the army and other branches of the military, who basically are totally like believe in QAnon and Pizzagate and like a lot of conspiracy theories that have been debunked years ago at this point. Like they fully bought into these very wacky conspiracy theories. Like I know one of these generals believes that in some sort of thing called Project Kraken or something like that, which I really didn't like look too far into that just because I don't like looking into the far right conspiracy stuff too much because it's I consider it an intellectual waste of time. Like it's just gonna rot my brain. I have other more important things to look into, but just the fact that these generals that are wielding vast amounts of power, like our military is the most advanced, highly funded military in the world, and the people that are in leadership positions in the military are like these are all retired generals, but they're all batshit crazy. Like they're just nuts, and anyone who seriously believes in like QAnon and like I'd even lump it in with like flat Earth and shit like that, like the whole space is fake conspiracy theory, like anything like that, like the 5G towers are poisoning us and the COVID vaccine has trackers in it. Like anyone who believes in that type of conspiracy theory is just fucking too far gone. Like they obviously lost touch with reality a long time ago. Like how gullible do you have to really be to buy into something that's so easy to disprove that sort of theory? Like plus like 5G isn't even like rolled out to most major cities yet. So like I don't think it really has the capability of poisoning very many people, especially like people in rural areas. Like they're not going to install a 5G tower in your shitty backwater southern town. It's just not lucrative enough for them. But I don't know, just like a lot of these memes I see, like and Twitter posts from people on the right, like are very odd. Like I've seen a lot of stuff from this L. Lynn Wood character, basically saying that there's going to be like a planned takedown of the power grid in the United States, and that's going to be the way that Trump like seizes power, and that all these people are hoping that Trump does some sort of coup to stay in power for the next 4 years, like because he was quote unquote robbed of the presidency, even though he lost fair and square. Like just like there's so many like all these things are like connected. Like these people believe that the voting machines were like hacked or rigged in some way. Like it's just like how how far back would you have to go in time to set up these voting machines that are rigged? And I don't know, it's just so easy to disprove. There's another story of some sheriff who he's a member of a this weird militia. I don't know exactly what the point of the militia is, but he uh, he thought that somebody was tampering with one of the voting machines and that they had a van full of votes for Trump that they were stealing or something something to that effect. So the sheriff does like this citizen's arrest because he's a former sheriff. He's not an active duty sheriff. He does a citizen's arrest on this HVAC worker. He turned out to be an HVAC worker, and there's nothing in his van except HVAC equipment, and he really has nothing to do with the voting machine. So just like how paranoid do you have to be to think that some HVAC guy is like some criminal mastermind who's rigging the fucking voting machines? It's just so stupid. That one still makes me laugh, but I don't know. Just like the type of people that you even saw going to storm the Capitol building are just like the worst rejects from like I don't know. Like it seems like were the type of people that would have liked to be in drama club in high school, but they didn't have the requisite talent or charisma. So they just like now in adulthood they're acting out these fantasies they have where they play dress up and like the MAGA Viking slash shaman guy with the like I don't know is it a buffalo headdress? I don't know exactly what that is, but just that guy. That guy's a clown. I wish I could fight that guy 1v1. That guy pisses me off. But I don't know. Just it's been chaos the past few days. We're still sort of unsure what the future holds. Like, is there going to be an even bigger like attack on Washington by the right when Biden actually takes office? Like, what exactly is going to happen next? Like, anything seems possible at this point. Kind of seems like the world's going to shit right now. Like, I was reading some other article today about a sinkhole that opened up in I think Italy somewhere next to a hospital, and they had to evacuate some of the people from the hospital because it was a 22,000 square foot sinkhole opened up randomly next to this hospital. But that kind of seems like it would be kind of common in Italy just because like it's uh it's bordered by the ocean on so many sides, and there's a lot of cities that are like sort of partially underwater already. Like is it Venice? Like sort of kind of there's like a river running through the city and stuff. So it seems like they're kind of asking to be flooded and for sinkholes to open up because they're living too close to the coastline and stuff. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm just the stuff I see from like right wing social media and even mainstream, like not even far right, but just mainstream right wing people. The memes they've been posting are very weird. Like they're gearing up for a civil war. Like you're really ready to fight a civil war just because your president lost fair and square. Like he lost in the election. So like our original civil war was actually for a good reason. We had to stop the pieces of shit that thought it was okay to own another human being. Like that was actually for a good reason. All the people in the South didn't want to give up their slaves, so we had to go show them what was what, and we whooped their southern asses, and now they're ready to fight a war just because Donald Trump, their favorite guy, lost fair and square, and they're not willing to accept reality. Like, there's always this like sort of rhetoric on social media nowadays after a presidential election where everyone's everyone on like the quote unquote losing side is sort of like depressed that their candidate lost, but this is the craziest I've ever seen it in my lifetime. Like you're so upset about the outcome of this election that you're gearing up for some sort of civil war, some sort of apocalypse to happen. Like I've been seeing a lot of these memes that say stuff like I saw one that said Trump had been flown on Air Force One to some military base in Texas, and that's where he's planning to stage his revolution from. But it's just all very strange. Like there were so many red flags about Trump, and everyone was like saying like I think a lot of the people that voted for Trump were like, oh well, he's not part of the political establishment, so maybe he'll be something different. Like, but if you're still supporting Trump right now on January 10th, 2021, I think there's something there's some sort of screw loose in your head. Like the pussy grabbing and all the stuff that Trump did like before he became president, like that came to light. Like he fucks porn stars, he likes to grab pussies, and I don't know, he's just obviously a very like shitty person. Like and I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with like fucking porn stars. I support that. But there were so many red flags that Trump was not going to be a good president, and I don't know. I could sort of forgive like the people that voted for him because like yeah, he's not part of the deep state. He's going to fight back against the deep state, but that was obviously not the case. Um, I just don't. I can't really wrap my mind around people that are still supporting Trump right now in light of everything that's happened. Like, it's just, it makes you kind of lose hope in humanity a little bit. Like, it sort of just makes me think about, like, all the wars that we've fought in the history of this country. Like, I don't believe in war. I don't think anything really justifies going to war, but there have been some legitimate wars. Like, we had to stop the Nazis. We had to stop the slave owners. Um, I think I think we're heavily the U.S. is heavily responsible for what happened in World War II and what happened to the Jews that died, because we got involved in the war very late. Like, we should have intervened a lot sooner and stopped a lot of the murder that Hitler was doing, and slavery should have never been legal in this country in the first place. But this is an imperfect world, and sometimes you have to go fight a war to stop evil pieces of shit that that are taking over. So, but nowadays, like in my lifetime and even before that, all these wars are just, they're very obvious money making schemes by the elite. Like, you look at 9/11 and the war, the global war on terror, and the war on drugs, and just like pretty much every war from Vietnam forward has just been to make money for the stockholders and to boost the economy. Like, there hasn't been a valid reason for war in a very long time, and war has sort of lost its the small shreds of honor that could be found in war. Like, it used to be that you'd have to physically go out onto a battlefield and face down another man and fight to the death with that man and look him in the eye while you were fighting him. But now there's drones, and there's self-driving cars that they can just put a machine gun turret in the self-driving car and have it go assassinate somebody. They can just kill you via drone strike, and there's no honor in war anymore. I think we should just bring back the gladiators, bring back the Colosseum, and just have people fight to the death. Like, you may call that barbaric, but it's a lot more humane than sending a drone to kill a bunch of poor people, a bunch of poor brown people in the Middle East. That's inhumane. That's barbaric. The Colosseum at least had some sort of honor. Like, you could get cheered on by the crowd and sort of become a hero of the people. But there's no there's no heroic drone pilots. There's no heroic guy who operates the robot in a self-driving car that has a machine gun mounted on it. That guy's not a hero. That guy's a fucking nerd. That guy's a piece of shit. Fuck that guy. If you're a drone operator, if you help to kill random people in the Middle East that have done nothing wrong, then you're the problem. But I think maybe the Coliseum would solve a lot of these problems. Like, I could have my little fantasy of going into a 1 versus 1 fight against the MAGA Viking shaman guy. We could have maybe like Ted Cruz go up against like Jeb Bush. You can have a lot of entertaining fights in the Coliseum. It doesn't have to be to the death, but I think it should be. It would solve a lot of the problems that we're facing with social media. You can say a lot of crap on social media, and I can make my YouTube videos making fun of people on the right, but I think we should take it a step further and bring this out into the real world. Like, if you really want to fight this civil war for Trump, put your money where your mouth is and step into the Coliseum with some people and see if you still feel like Trump is worth dying for and fighting for. Because a lot of people died in that Capitol the Capitol building incident recently, and honestly, I have zero pity, zero remorse for those people, because they took their life in their own hands when they stormed the Capitol. I kind of feel bad for the officer that got beaten to death. It's very it's a very fitting for 2021 to have the people that supposedly believe in Blue Lives Matter, as if there is such a thing as a blue life. Like, it's a blue uniform, it's not a blue life. You don't have blue skin, you can take your fucking uniform off. like like Aldo said in Inglorious Bastards. You have that fancy Nazi uniform that you can just take off whenever you want. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. If you're a Nazi, you should be required to wear your swastika at all times. But in the age of social media, you can conveniently take off your swastika and your KKK hood whenever you want, and officers can do the same thing. Police officers can take off their uniform at the end of the day and pretend to just be a regular person. But I still feel bad for that guy that got beaten to death. So much for Blue Lives Matter, I guess. That guy's blue life didn't matter very much to those Trump supporters. His life meant very little to them, obviously, as they beat him to death brutally with a fire extinguisher. So I guess I guess the whole Blue Lives Matter is more of a performative art piece. It's performance art. You're really it's just a virtue signal. You really don't give a shit about police. If you cared about police, then you'd be concerned about how there are more police committing suicide every day than there are police killings. The police are so mentally unprepared for their own jobs that they're killing themselves at astounding rates every single day. If you really cared about police, then you'd be concerned about that. You'd be concerned about the returning veterans that are also committing suicide at record rates every day in this country. But you really don't care about those troops or those police officers. You just want to do your virtue signal on social media and prove how righteous you are. But at the end of the day, you go in and support Trump to the point where you beat an innocent police officer to death, which it's also kind of a misnomer to call a police officer innocent because I think police are part of the problem as well. The prison industrial complex is just another part of the military industrial complex and all the other systems of power in this country that are unjust. Abolish police, abolish prisons, abolish the government, abolish all forms of leadership and authority. We don't need any leaders or gods or kings. We just need each other and a little bit of freedom to do what we want instead of working for a boss from 9 to 5 and pissing away the best years of your life on a job that you hate and working for someone else, making money for a boss when you should be getting the money. Profits are the unpaid wages of the working class. But I think that's an appropriate first episode. That's really all I wanted to say. Just wanted to sort of comment on the absurdity of this whole Capitol building incident and just sort of looking ahead to see what's next because it's not over yet. And we'll see what the next 4 years brings if the Biden presidency can undo some of the damage that Trump did while he was in office. But I have to say that I'm not really very optimistic about that because the Democrats are just as shitty as Republicans in my view. Anarchism is the only way, friends. Anarchism is the way, comrades. It's the way forward to a better future. But also, I always like to make this joke when people ask about what my political affiliation is. Anarchism is a cool club because there's no annoying forms to fill out. There's no official membership roles. You just got to decide that you want to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. You just got to put away all your flags. There's no anarchist flags. I like the hammer and sickle though. That's a powerful symbol. I like the Che Guevara as well. The Chairman Mao. I think think those are powerful symbols that we can rally behind. But at the end of the day, symbols, and that's just another form of oppression, man. And like I said, no masters, no kings, no authority figures, no cops, none of that. We don't need any of them. We just need each other. That's all we need, brothers. Anarchism is the only way. But yeah, that's episode 1. The Proletariat Politics. That's what we're calling this show. I'm going to try to do it once a week, but I have a very grueling school schedule that's ramping up here in the next few days, so I can't 100% promise that I'll be able to stick to the once per week episode thing, but I'm going to try my best. And if you know me, all my social media is out there. It's easy to find, and so feel free to hold me accountable. Call me out if I'm not sticking to the once per week thing. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And as I always say in my blog, stay gold. Stay gold, pony boy. Stay gold.